I don't know if I explained what I was trying to say good enough in part 3 or not. It's really not about me, but I really want somebody to catch what I'm saying and put this into action and watch it work. Now let me show you something. I'm going to explain a little bit better what I meant. A lot of people like to quote certain scriptures when they really don't live by what that scripture says, because they don't actually understand what that scripture says. Now, one that we have heard time and time again is life and death is in the power of the tongue. So when you read that scripture, when you hear that scripture, everybody likes to jump on the life and death aspect of those verses or of that verse. That scripture is actually telling us something very important. Not just so we can run around saying, speak life, speak life. All right, we done heard that, we done sung that. That scripture is actually telling us something different that I have never heard anybody say. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's actually telling us that there is power in our tongue. Forget the life and death for a minute. I know, life and death, death and life, all right. There is power in your tongue. There is power in your tongue. There is power in your tongue. Catch that. Now, think about this. Scripture tells us that God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. God is able to do these things, but He does it according to the power that works in us. That scripture is telling you that there is power that works in us. Where is that power? It's in our tongue. Now this is important because for years and years and years, I have seen and heard so-called Christian people, so-called followers of Christ, I have heard them cry out to God, pray to God, asking God to do this, that, and the other, asking God to move, asking God to make a way. But God does these things according to the power that works in us. In other words, God is not going to do something that you ain't saying. I said God is not going to do what you want Him to do until you do what He told you to do. So it's time out for all of this screaming and hollering about God do this, God do that. He just said in His word that He does exceedingly, abundantly, above what you ask. Exceedingly, abundantly, above what you think. But He does it according to the power that works in you. That power is in your tongue. And if you can't speak it, God ain't gonna do it. I don't know if that right there made y'all mad or not. I'm just gonna cut the video off because I just got mad. Let me ask you this. You're praying to God to heal your body when you're sick. But what are you speaking out of your mouth after you pray? You're praying to God because you got a financial situation and you need money. But after your prayer, what are you speaking out of your mouth? You praying to God because one of your children has a need. But after you pray, what are you speaking out of your mouth? With our mouths, with our tongues, we have the ability to change situations, circumstances, change trouble. And I know a lot of people will say, well, some things you just have to go through. So basically, people will try to get you to accept things as the will of God, when a lot of things are not even the will of God. A lot of things we are putting up with, we taking mess off the devil, we going through certain trouble that we don't even have to go through, all because we won't open our mouths and say what needs to be said and use that power that God put in man. And most people, I don't even blame them, because I know they walking in ignorance. Because that's where the church has been for years. I know that.